Oh, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rewind, episode number 9 for Tuesday, November 12th, 2024. My name is Marty Sliva. I'm joined by Jack Packard, Nick Calandra, and producer Eric. Darren is at a fancy pants screening. That's why he's not here, because his pants are fancy. I don't know. We usually only see Darren's upper torso, so we don't really realize how fancy his pants are. But they're extremely fancy. Let me assure you guys.
Whenever I picture Darren, I picture him in nice slacks, like not even jeans, just nice, like ironed slacks with a belt. So
he's a Chico man. He's
the only full picture I've seen of Darren is him in the suit when he was at the.
He looked good at the Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah.
He was good looking. Welcome, everyone. This is Second Wind's Entertainment Podcast. We got a great show for you today. We're going to be chatting about a little bit about Disney and HBO Max both released little sizzle reels for their upcoming slates for 2025. We'll be chatting about kind of the big things we have in store for us next year. A couple big genre shows, just one wrapped up and one just got its season started in HBO's The Penguin and Arcane season 2 on Netflix. And then Jack and I watched a pair of comedies.
Comedies
on Amazon Prime, Brothers and My Old Ass. And we're going to talk about both of them because one of them is very good and one of them is not very good. And also just kind of wanted to talk about like what happened to comedies. Because I don't know, y'all remember like comedies used to be like I feel like every month I went to a comedy and now I'm just going to sad movies about Jesus. I saw 2 sad movies about Jesus this week.
Did you see the trailer for Mary this morning?
I did see the trailer for Mary, part of the extended Jesus cinematic universe.
Ooh.
Yeah, but it's about
the EJCDU.
Who's the Nick Fury of that? God,
Jet you.
Just comes out. I
told you it's gonna be a shit show of a show.
It's fine. I also feel like the 3 of us have streamed in a long time.
No, we have not.
That's true.
I don't know if we've ever streamed at Second Wind.
Oh, that might be true. The 3 of us together.
We've done it in a group setting,
and only 3 of us. Right. It's been a while. And by the way, here's the big twist: is it's Judas. Judas is the Nick Fury of the Catholic cinematic universe.
Wouldn't he be like Loki?
You would think that. Yeah,
exactly. Welcome everyone in chat as well. Snake, I saw your message right away. I think we could keep Penguin and Arcane relatively spoiler free because I think those are shows. Arcane only has 3 of its 9 episodes out, and Penguin, it feels like a show I've been recommending to a lot of people. So I think a lot of people might have waited until it was done and then coming to it late. So we'll keep those topics relatively spoiler free. That being said, you're getting spoiled on Brothers. There's no way we're not spoiling Brothers. We're not spoiling Brothers.
All the brother spoilers are happening today.
Did you ever see 4 Brothers? This is the second time I've talked about 4 Brothers on a show.
I've not. I've not seen 4 Brothers.
All 4 of the brothers.
Oh, 4 brothers. Okay. Oh, well, great.
All 4 of the brothers. Let's start off chatting about these trailers. So, like I mentioned, Disney Plus and HBO released upcoming sizzle reels of what they have in store for the rest of 2024 and into 2025. I'm dropping their links in the chat so folks can watch them. And I just wanted to go over some dates and some things to mark on our calendar of genre shows, either returning, debuting, or otherwise coming back. So, December 3rd, in less than a month, we have Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Do you know about this? I know, Jack, you're a little on Star Wars. How are you on Skeleton?
Like this is the show that he would actually be into out of any of the Star Wars shows.
It's like Goonies, but Star Wars. You love Goonies. You have a Goonies tattoo.
I do. I have a Hey You Guys sloth tattoo. You will never guess where it is. It's below the belt.
It's in the Darren zone.
That's all I'm gonna say. I asked the ladies if they want to see my chunk.
Oh
my God.
Reference.
Zing. I will. I'm not watching Star Wars ever again. I have made that incredibly clear. I am done. I will not. Andor's good. I don't give a fuck. Oh, this is good. I don't give a fuck. I'm never watching a Star Wars again. I'm out.
Okay. I can't tempt you with a little bit of Jude Law, a little sprinkling of Jude Law.
Ooh, I love Jude Law. That is a wonderful man. I'm never fucking watching a fucking Star Wars again.
Star Wars.
What if one of the episodes episodes are directed by the Everything Everywhere All at Once duo? The Daniels, David Lowery, who did The Green Knight, which I know you love. You keep coming up to me with tears in your eyes and saying, "Sir, The Green Knight is my favorite movie I've ever seen." Lee Isaac Chung, who just directed Twisters, with an S.
By the way, this is not an indictment. I believe that quality stuff will come out of the Star Wars intellectual property. I think these are all talented people who will make interesting things. I am out. And I have been very clear on that.
I like that we represent the full Star Wars spectrum here.
Is there an inciting incident for why you're out?
Yeah, what was the last thing actually? Luke showing up in Mando?
Luke showing up in Mando.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was like, fair. I'm done. That was the last thing I watched, and I've been happier. I've just been happier.
Like, but you don't have to read Star Wars comments from the fans.
And then they're mad about something. Oh, they love something. They're mad about something. They love something, and I just get to be blissfully unaware. It's like that section of America that on election day was Googling why is Joe Biden not running for president. I get to be blissfully. I get to be blissfully unaware of the chaos, and I've never felt better.
Oh, I think that is so good. Nick, as someone like me who still does consume most Star Wars things, even though we might have up and down relationships with it, where are you at on Skeleton Crew?
That trailer, it just feels different, really different from anything Star Wars has done before, and so that has me interested. I'm curious. That trailer was really interesting because it starts like on a really lighthearted, like almost feels like a kid's show tone. And
like it just Goonies kind of thing.
Yeah, but then it also just gets like darker and darker as the trailer goes on, and so like, I think there's gonna be a nice like contrast between the two that I'm interested in. I'm not. Yeah, I guess we'll see. Like it's just a very interesting looking Star Wars project, and that's all I'm asking for Star Wars right now is to be interested.
A knock against it is it takes place in the same Mandalorian time frame, which I'm like, we just gotta get out of there. There's so much stuff going on.
Gotta do the movie first.
We just gotta get out of there. But obviously, a Star Wars thing coming next year that I think both of us and Darren definitely are more excited about. April 22nd confirmed the debut of season 2, the second season and final season of Andor. Which I know, I'm sure a million people have told you this is the good one, Jack. It is the good one. But listen, I appreciate your commitment, your faith.
You know what? He's a fan that knows when he's done. Yeah, and that you can say that. You can't say that about many fans.
This is the thing. Like you know what?
For more pain.
I'll probably even rewatch, some of the original trilogy. I will just enjoy what I enjoy, and it's like I'm good, y'all.
You're gonna crack open the book of Boba Fett, pour yourself a nice chamomile. See what's going on with that Rancor that he rides.
This, like when I retire, when I'm like 75 years old, it's like finally I'll watch this. I'll watch Titanic, and then I'll die.
Oh, so it's your Avatar Way of Water. That's how I'm treating James Cameron's Avatar movies. No, because it's my deathbed movies. If I'm watching it, y'all should be worried. Start looking to fill an empty head.
Now recording.
You hyped it up so much just to never watch it.
Listen, I'm a PR person for Big Jim. My job's not to watch the thing. My job's to get others to watch the thing.
Absolutely.
Okay, the other side of the Disney coin, Marvel. Mm-hmm. We got a couple dates for Marvel things. March 4th, Daredevil Born Again, the much awaited and anticipated Daredevil series on Disney Plus. Obviously, bringing back the cast of the Netflix series. And then later on in the summer, June 24th, Marvel's Ironheart, which apparently was filmed like 4 years ago. And Ironheart is a character that was introduced in the second Black Panther movie. Riri Williams is taking the mantle of Iron Man. Either of these do anything for you? Are you out on Marvel, Jack, as well?
No, I'm still
like Agatha. Yeah.
Oh yeah, loved Agatha. Agatha's really great. Obviously, and I have a deeper backstory with Marvel. So it's like, as someone who has read a lot of comics, I've been there for the ups and downs in the comics and in the cinematic universe and the Disneyfication of Marvel. Like this is the ups and downs. Welcome, everyone. This is how comic book readers have felt for decades. there are good periods, there are bad periods.
Sadly, very true. Yeah.
I'm very interested in Daredevil. I just am concerned about being under Disney and seeing what they do with it. I mean, like obviously the first teasers very much seem to match the style of Netflix, but we'll see if the writing matches that, because that's what I'm concerned about.
And they did apparently they had a first run of scripts that were eventually everyone looked at them and were like, this is like too tame. This is not the continuation of the Daredevil story that people really loved on Netflix. And so they went back to the well, and that's where they, brought back a lot of the actors, and they brought John Barenthal's coming back as Punisher. There's some scuttlebutt that Kristen Ritter might be coming back. So I'm cautiously optimistic. Like of the MCU things next year, I guess Fantastic Four is the thing I'm most curious about, but this would probably be number 2. Yeah,
they have to be looking at like DC right now and how they're separating, doing the darker, Matt Reeves stuff with whatever's, James Gunn's Superman is going to be. They have to be looking at that and seeing the success and be like, maybe we need to do some of that.
Both worlds, yeah.
You can have both worlds. I think Marvel is still attempting to have their cake and eat it too, where it's like, and they did the same. If you read a Punisher comic, it's vastly different than an Avengers comic, right? If you read, certain runs of Daredevil, vastly different than Spider-Man, and they lived a couple neighborhoods apart. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Daredevil. Let's all take a moment and recognize that even Netflix's Daredevil, which we all look back on with rose-colored glasses, had significant ups and downs.
Oh yeah.
A lot of season 2 was real dang shaky. Season 3 felt a little more like we think we know what you want instead of having a voice and a story to tell themselves. And to me, that's my biggest concern with Born Again, is them trying to give the audience what they want instead of having a story of their own to tell. That being said, talented actors, talented filmmakers, let's be cautiously optimistic.
And I'm curious, like this is everywhere else in the world. If anyone's outside of the US, Disney Plus kind of just houses all of the things under the Disney and Fox umbrella, I believe. So like you can watch all the R-rated stuff from Hulu and everything. You can watch Alien on Disney Plus, and that's slowly happening here. Like, via Disney Plus, you could be like, oh, I could put on The Bear, which does not feel like a Disney Plus show. I'm also curious and I guess cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic. I think this will be a big test as far as the spine of Disney goes. I think they got a big confidence boost with Deadpool Wolverine as far as like stretching the boundaries. Obviously, that was not a movie I cared for, but if we're gonna Right. If we're going to like zoom out and look at a meta level, like it definitely helped define what a Disney Marvel movie is. Maybe that gave them a little confidence to try something a little more daring with Daredevil. But much like Deadpool Wolverine, what I'm assuming is it's going to be an overabundance of fan service.
Yeah.
Which is sucks, because what are you going to do, And
it kind of sucks because that's what it feels like this entire second part of the MCU is building up to. If it's building up to Secret Wars, it just feels like that's fan service incarnate. Which
it's kind of funny. Like the 2 movies they have coming, Captain America, and then what's the other one?
Fantastic Four.
Thunderbirds.
Oh, Thunderbolts.
Oh,
yeah, Thunderbolts. Yeah. I'm actually interested in those 2 movies from Marvel, weirdly.
Oh, good God. The song in the recent Thunderbolts trailer.
I didn't watch that trailer.
It was some 90s song where I'm like, I was shocked you pulled it. It wasn't like Cake, but it was something like Cake, where I'm like, why is this song in the trailer? But the 90s, they're back. Which is good for all of us.
It's been back for like a decade already.
Yeah. No,
No way.
But now they're digging into like the weird shit of the 90s.
Marty, I saw they re-released Jinko jeans.
Oh no.
Yes, 90s fashions are totally back. Hold on, I'm trying to look up what song.
Awesome Kingdom by the Toadies.
Fuck yeah! By the way, I listen to that still today. I fucking love that.
So this is like, it's not like we're being like, oh, here's Nirvana. Like, we are getting into like 90s deep cuts, which I think is really funny.
Yes, unpopular, popular for a week, alt rock, alt dirge rock, which is my wheelhouse. No, but like Thunderbirds is a very interesting movie where like they do get some kinds of
Thunderbolts. Thunderbirds is with puppets. Thunderbirds was that sci-fi puppet show.
Screwed us all up.
You screwed us all up.
Here, you want to see why I can screw us all up more? Here's
DP.
Oh no. The Thunderbolts is again like an opportunity for them to play around with nobody's beloved IP. Like nobody loves any of those characters, so they get to actually just make a movie.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me the most excited about anything ever. Like, they don't have to be beholden to lore nerds because no one gives a fuck.
I'm just very confused. The movie is titled Thunderbolts, and then there's an asterisk at the end of it.
Yeah.
Which I'm very confused by. I know in the comics when the Thunderbolts were introduced, they were introduced as heroes, and then at the end of either the first run or the first issue, the twist was that this is actually a team created by Baron Zemo, and it's a team of villains pretending to be heroes, like trying to get in there. So maybe that's the little asterisk there. And then a handful of other quick things they showed off in both these trailers that didn't get dates but are coming next year, which include Alien Earth, which is Noah Hawley's take on aliens. That's going to be a series on Hulu. And then sticking with other big things from Disney and Hulu, The Bear season 4, which they haven't confirmed yet, but it sounds like is the last season. And then Chad Powers, which is a football show starring America's sweetheart Glenn Powell, where he plays like a disgraced NFL quarterback who tries to pretend he's a college kid to go back to college and play college ball, which seems like it should be illegal. I don't think you should be able to do that.
That's a fun premise, though. That could lead to good goofs and spoofs.
The Alien show is the one I'm most excited for out of that lineup. And I'm excited that the first time we see it, like that cinematography looks really good. I was worried that was going to be like a B tier Alien thing. That looks like it has a budget behind it.
It does, and Noah Hawley is just like a legit visionary. He's behind Legion, which Darren has sung the praises of many times as one of the best Marvel things in recent memory, and the Fargo series. So Noah Hawley's very talented. I hope this is good. It is like a little bit worrisome that we had Romulus, which we talked about had some high highs and some low lows. But it sounds like they were happy with, and they're going to go, Fede Alvarez is probably going to get a sequel to that. But then Old Man Ridley, coming off rave reviews for Gladiator 2, is like, I got one more in me. It's like,
got to finish that Prometheus trilogy.
You know what? Just fucking retire. Just go away, everybody.
I'm going to be the weird one.
Go away.
I weirdly like Prometheus quite a lot.
Oh, no, I love Prometheus and Covenant. I go to bat for both of them.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not the weird
absolutely.
one then.
No.
Jack, you don't like them, do you?
I never saw Covenant. Prometheus, I never understood like the full blown hate for it. I think it contains one of the best scenes in a horror movie. Period. Prometheus,
getting the baby out,
the medical getting the baby out of the machine. One of the greatest scenes in a horror movie, bar none. Fight me, because that is full of tension. But it was like, it was to me. We talked about this when we talked about Alien Romulus, which is like I don't have any dogma revolving around the Alien franchise, and so for me it was like, it's all fine.
Yeah,
it's all goop, and I like goop.
Yeah, honestly, I also every once in a while when stuff gets tough, I'm like, what if I just drank some black goo and then disintegrated into a waterfall?
Right, it's fine.
It'd be a nice little way to go. And then on the HBO front, speaking of more genre stuff, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is the next Game of Thrones thing about Dunk and Egg. Not Dunk and Egg. There's a man named Dunk and a man named Egg. Don't you dare think Dunkin' Eggs about a man named Dunkin' Egg.
And he's got
Dunkin'
a brother
Egg.
donut.
They
Not
they
Dunkin'
will
Donuts, Dunkin' Egg.
they will 100% try to make a Dunkin' Donuts egg breakfast sandwich the Dunkin'
Oh
Egg.
yeah.
And if the Dunkin' Donuts marketing team aren't already on that, hire me. I will work on that with you because shit.
The It series, It Welcome to Derry, like a prequel series, takes place like how Derry, the town, became all fucked up. White Lotus season 3, which got Goggins, and I'm Goggin for Goggins. So you give me Walton Goggins and something, I'm fucking there. Day one.
100%.
And then The Last of Us season 2, which will probably be debuting in the spring, which I'm sure no one will get mad at.
God, can we just like stop second wind for while that's airing?
No one will get mad.
I'm not ready for that.
I'm really excited for it.
We'll see. The TV audience is gonna be like, "Holy fuck!"
I think that,
I can't believe you.
once again, I think like the TV audience is going to like really enjoy it. I think as a story, it's going to be fine. Obviously, gameplay wise, it was all, we won't even get into it.
This is a movie podcast.
This is a movie podcast. I think genuinely, I think that is the medium for that story is a television series. So I'm all for it.
And it's on the network that gave you Game of Thrones, which it was not afraid to kill its darlings. So hopefully
I still remember I made it to the Red Wedding without being spoiled. And I was sitting there watching it in my room, and my mom comes walking over, and I just look at her. I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Nice.
And then the last two things, the DC shows coming next year are Peacemaker season 2 and Creature Commandos, which is I don't know anything about those men, those critters.
We also have Dune Prophecy in a week.
Yeah, I heard that's bad.
Got mixed reviews. Yeah.
I know a couple. I think Darren was tweeted that he's on it, and I've heard some other people just be like, "This is bad." So,
IGN I think gave it a 5.
What is it? Wait, what?
Dune Prophecy, a Dune prequel. It's about the Bene Gesserit. Bene and the Gesserits. You never do that?
If that is the theme song, I will watch every episode. If like Peacemaker, we get like a little dance intro number.
That would be delightful. Oh my god, day one.
It actually weirdly, the trailer alone stuck out to me for that because it had normal dialogue, which like the Dune movies, just all the dialogue is very like specific about what they're saying all the time. Yeah, almost like. And this just felt like a very traditional TV show dialogue. I was like, that doesn't feel right.
Is Denis Villeneuve involved at all?
I don't think so. I don't even think in the capacity that like Matt Reeves like produced the Penguin. I think like Denny's like, no, I'm too busy.
By the way, then skip it. It won't be. I'm calling it now. It 100% won't be worth it.
What about the theme song?
Bene Gesserit.
Okay, before we move on to stuff we've actually been consuming with our eyeballs, a couple of super chats came in, and thank you so much to folks like Matthew, $9.99 donation over on YouTube. Thank you so much, Matthew. Happy 1st anniversary, second wind.
That's right.
I can't believe it. It's hard to believe. It's been 1 year.
Heads up, everyone! Saturday, if in case you didn't know, we're doing a super long birthday stream. Happy birthday to us! We're gonna stream kind of all day, play games with you, play games with ourselves, play with ourselves. It's going to be kind of a wonderful time, just to be like, hey, we're still doing this. Isn't everybody surprised? We are.
I just looked up. So that's starting at 11 a.m. Central. Yeah. And it's going to be like a 10-hour stream or so. Obviously, 3 of us are going to be there. Pretty much all of your favorite second winders are going to be there. Everyone's going to be there. Yassi's going to be there. Darren's going to be there. Guys, if stuff doesn't fuck up, Darren, Yahtzee, same stream, same time.
Holy shit. The world's going to blow up.
It's going to be great.
Also, you know whose birthday's on Saturday? Two of my favorites. Maggie Gyllenhaal, Shigeru Miyamoto.
Holy crap.
I'm just saying. Friend of the show, can we get one of those guests?
Yeah, 100%.
To find out. We can't. Shigeru Miyamoto does not know who we are, and Maggie Gyllenhaal will not return my calls.
And Old Hunter asked about the schedule. Ben Nathan's working on it now, so we'll have that posted up in today or tomorrow probably. Yeah. And then of course This time for our live stream event, we're going to have some milestones for you to reach to make us do weird things.
Oh, milestones.
Some milestones. That'll be great.
Yeah, very excited. So
maybe the Thunderbirds will show up.
Oh my God, could you imagine those little puppets? You got some puppets probably, Jack, right? Like you own puppets.
Yeah, it's like I got them in my closet somewhere.
I have puppets.
And the stream will be on Twitch as well, right?
Yeah.
The answer, George Lucas. Yes, it'll be on both platforms. Excellent. All right, let's go into our grab. Let's start with the Penguin, if only because it's the one I listed first. And it's just easy for me to go in orders. Oh, wait, no. Before we get to the Penguin. Wing Potato. Wing Potato with a $2 dono, the most important dono of the show. That Toadies album was legit great.
100%.
They come to snuff the rooster. That was the Toadies, was
That
it?
was not the Toadies.
Is that Alice in Chains?
Was that was Alice in Chains, yeah.
No, or that was Father of the Dog? Was that it? That wasn't a band, was it?
Puddle of the Dog?
Blood? Temple of the Dog. They come to snuff the roost. Penguin, season 1. Wrapped up. Like we mentioned, I don't want to go into spoilers. We're not going to talk about who lives. We're not going to talk about who dies. We're not going to talk about whether the Penguin gets a cool dinner coat, which he does by the end. Spoilers. My one spoiler: he gets a cool coat by the end of the series. Nick, you watched this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, watched all of it.
What did you and folks should check out Darren's latest backdrop on the Penguin, which is definitely also not spoiler. It's kind of more about how the Penguin as a series is able to skirt around a lot of modern superhero fatigue by pulling inspiration from different sources and pulling it really well, as opposed to other things which don't pull it well, like the Joker.
Comments on that video are hilarious because they're like, there's no such thing as fucking superhero fatigue. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Look at the box office. Like, there's just like, just look at the money. Yes, there is. That's insane. That's crazy. But Thunderbirds is coming. That's all that matters. Speaking of my favorite Thunderbird, the Penguin. So what did you think of the series, Nick?
Yeah, I loved it. I think I've been pretty clear on, Firelink and Breakout and all the previous podcasts we've done that like I really like the darker comic book style stuff. So Matt Reeves, the Batman universe that he's making is exactly the kind of stuff that I like. I was really curious before watching the show of like, is it just going to be another like tie-in thing to the Batman Part 2 like Marvel does with all their stuff? Yeah. Where it feels like I have to watch this to know what's going to happen in the Batman. But like this felt, even though it is that, it still felt self-contained enough, and I was like invested in the story the entire time. And it feels like something, yes, I could skip and probably go into the Batman Part 2 and be just fine. But man, I'm so much like, as you go through the series without spoiling anything, it's like, man, I'm excited for Batman to kick the shit out of this guy at some point.
Yeah, and it does. I believe it starts a few days after the Batman, and they said it ends a few days before the Batman Part 2. At least that's what the plan is. So it is kind of like clock in the middle. Clock in the middle. Jesus. But yeah, this was a show when they announced it, I was like, I've never been like, well, I need my Penguin series. I need to know what motivates the Penguin. But it was one of those things where they delivered it, and it's just so impeccably produced. Like it is gorgeous. It is paced extremely well. It is clear that they are pulling inspirations from the right places while putting a twist on it. It is very clear that they're modeling their Penguin after Tony Soprano to the giving kind of both Colin Farrell in that makeup kind of has that stocky nature of James Gandolfini, but also adding like a bit of depth and pathos to someone, like showing like, why is he this way? And it's like, oh, well, he has a Freudian relationship with his mother. And that's never good. But then introducing characters that I didn't know. Like I didn't know the Christine Miliotti's character, Sophia Gigante, I believe is her name, which is what a name. I wish I could change my last name to Gigante.
That's a Bond villain name right there.
Absolutely. Christina Milioti, who people might know from, she played the mother at the end of How I Met Your Mother. She was also the lead in Palm Springs, which we will probably be bringing up later on in the show.
She also appears, by the way, slightly video game related. She appears in one strangely off but wonderful episode of the Apple Plus TV show starring Mac.
Oh yeah, about the developer. She plays like it's her and the guy from New Girl, right?
It's her and Jake Johnson in an episode that is only tangentially related to the rest of the series. What is that series fucking called?
What's the show called? The Ubisoft produced show on Apple Plus about game developers. Mighty Quest? It can't be called Mighty Quest.
Oh, something Quest.
Yeah.
Mythic Quest.
Oh, that's Speakeasy.
Yeah.
She was one of the greatest episodes of television ever, by the way.
Like an incredible contained one-off episode.
Is that the latest season? I don't know. Yeah.
No, I want to say it's season 2, and it's about their development of the game, something Quiet Dark or Quiet Dark Death.
Yeah. And it's like it takes place beforehand, right? It takes place in the 90s, I think.
Yes. By the way, I have a Quiet Dark Death t-shirt. I wore it and that day met Jake Johnson while I was wearing it, and I didn't realize till afterwards.
Did you know that you were
going to be there?
Jake Johnson.
I did not know he was going to be at this thing I was at, and I was just wearing the shirt, and I didn't realize it until later. I was like, "Oh my god, he thought I was a fanboy," but really, I'm just a fan of that episode.
Incredible! I love that.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, she's great. She was also in that USS Callister episode of Black Mirror, the Star Trek episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Which she's excellent. But no, obviously she's been in incredible things and she's been incredible in them beforehand, but this felt like a very much a true capital S star turn. And I feel like she's going to be like she has to be on everyone's list now. This was not a role I realized she could play. Like, this character's fucking insane.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know she had that pitch in her repertoire. So that was incredibly impressive. But
Colin better win awards for this show.
Yeah. The two of them have so many incredible scenes together, and it's it's just one of those, it's 8 episodes, and each one, it's part of like a singular story that runs through, but each one also feels like it has its own sort of arc to it in a way that a lot of the MCU stuff, honestly, Agatha did a good job of that, where every episode did feel kind of contained. At least like the Witch's Road arc was like every episode was a different trial they had to do. And I got a little bit of that from Penguin, but just, a really great supporting cast. Like I said, great writing, really like production values that were just a notch below the Batman, which the Batman has like the highest of production values. So being a notch below is not a bad thing, but, one of those shows I recommend to anyone who liked the Batman, and honestly, just anyone who wants a crime show, because you don't need to have watched the Batman to get this. Like, there is no required reading for this thing.
Love that. I love that.
Did you mean to say contained episodes or cohesive? Because I feel like when I'm watching like Disney Star Wars shows or the MCU shows, they often feel like just like it doesn't feel like there's a story arc through the entire season. And this felt like a full arc that I got to, a real TV series. Because that's something Darren talks about a lot, like where they're not really producing TV for TV. And this felt produced for TV.
Yeah, it's a tough, we'll talk about this with Arcane too. It's a tough, what is the goal of an episode of TV? I think it used to be to provide a half an hour or 40 minutes of entertainment. And then you forget about it. And then you come
to other long movies.
Now they're long movies, or it's the first sixth of a long movie. And so, it's impressive if an episode is able to work as its own thing. And a lot of times you need to be removed from the main story to do that. Like we mentioned that episode of Mythic Quest. Like that episode is ostensibly removed from the rest of it, but you could show that to anyone without having watched the rest of the show and really, really enjoy it. And so I think the Penguin does a great job of straddling the line where each episode feels you feel fulfilled by the end of it. Like you feel like, ooh, that was a nice arc of television, but then they all combine to create one great arc over the course of the season.
Sure.
Yeah,
and this is the kind of comic book stuff I like, where DC, at least right now, it seems like they're letting their producers and creatives be creative and have their own visions for these things, where Marvel feels so production line, which is why, like, Captain America, the new Captain America, at least to me, looks a lot like the Winter Soldier, which I think is a comparison a lot of people have made. But it feels unique, and when I see the trailer for Thunderbolts, that feels unique, and Agatha feels unique. So maybe Marvel's starting to figure out, like, hey, let our artists cook a little bit.
No, I completely agree, and it's both. To bring back Agatha again, Jack Schaefer, she was the showrunner of Agatha, and then Lauren LaFranc, who was the showrunner of Penguin. Like, these shows feel authored. Like, you can kind of like feel a thumbprint on them, even though obviously different folks direct different episodes and everything, and you have a writer's room. But they feel authored in a way where a lot of times this stuff feels very, well, I got this episode. I mean, I just mentioned the Skeleton Crew thing. Like, every episode is by a different set of Hollywood directors. So you wonder if, like, oh, will the guy who directed Twister's episode feel the same as Bryce Dallas's Howard's or the Everything Everywhere All at Once guys? Whereas, this felt like very much a singular vision through and through, in a really great way, in a way we don't get in the traditional design by committee of a lot of these big franchise stuff.
And Andor, to be fair, had different directors for a lot of their episodes. And still
it did, but it kind of lumped them in thirds. It was kind of like, here's this person's arc, here's this person's arc, and like, here's the prison arc, here's the bombing run arc, and here's the thing. Man, Andor's really good. I'm sorry, Jack.
I need to rewatch.
Andor's great. I'm happy you enjoyed it.
This month's movie night is also going to be 9 episodes of Andor.
Son of a bitch. I can't make it. I know I'm busy that day, whatever day.
Oh no, don't worry, it's going over into 2 days, so either day you could show up.
Whatever day you're not busy is the day we're doing. And we'll ask your kids.
Did your kids watch Andor? Do they care about Star Wars? Do kids care about Star Wars?
Do you let your kids watch Star Wars anymore?
I have very happily showed my kids Star Wars when they were younger. They watched the Mandalorian with us. They could give 2 fucks about Star Wars. They also could give 2 fucks about Marvel. Like, they do not care.
What are they Skibbity Toilet? They're all about Skibbity Toilet, though.
They were more excited. What is the cartoon series on YouTube that recently got on Netflix? The Amazing Digital Circus,
the one you recommended to me. I just saw that on Netflix the other day.
They and their friend groups got like scheduled times to meet together in the meet space to watch like the new episode of that. They don't give a fuck about Marvel. Like while me and my friends were like, buying midnight tickets to Star Wars episode 1s, like, no. They are like, a new episode of the YouTube series I watched is about to drop. So it's good for them.
Every Wednesday they tune in for 3 hours of the Chicago cinematic universe of Chicago Medical, Chicago PD, and Chicago Fire. My mom watches that every week, and so every time when I have dinner with her, I'll be like, "Catch me up. What happened on these Chicago shows? What's going on there? I gotta know how much." And every season they have one episode where they'll be like, "There's SARS," and then they all combine into a little Avengers moment. It's very exciting.
Is there some reboot of 24 happening?
I don't know. I just read Jason Reitman, the guy behind the modern Ghostbusters movies, is doing a reboot of Idle Hands. Devon Sawa's Idle Hands, starring Finn Wolfhard from the Ghostbuster movies and Stranger Things. Why are we rebooting Idle Hands? That's a perfect movie to begin with.
Stop it. Just stop
it. It has The Offspring in it. Unless they bring back The Offspring in this movie, don't make it.
Stop it.
I was right. 24 movie in the works.
Stop
it.
It
could be 24 hours.
July 20.
Stop it.
Whenever Jack's available, he'll get to watch it.
Stop it.
Oh, no. Stop it. What do you think about original Idle Hands? You had to have been an Idle Hands guy.
Oh,
Jessica
sure.
Alba?
Fun.
Oh, my God.
It's a fun little silly movie. It's great. It's like, yes, again, like, remake the bad movies.
Yeah.
There's so many bad movies to remake. Stop remaking the good movies.
There's so much you could do.
Stop it.
Video games going to do that too.
Before moving on to quick Arcane thoughts and then our State of Comedies chat, Quintuple A with a $5 dono. Thank you so much, Quintuple A. Thanks, Eric. I don't know what's happening right now. I don't have a view of Eric's probably doing something right now.
Honestly, yeah, I don't know what's happening on the stream because I don't see it in our Discord chat.
For once, I don't see it in our Discord chat.
So Eric could be doing whatever he wants, and that's the amount of trust.
There's pornography in the fourth window.
That's the amount of trust I have in Eric, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't think it's going on now.
Wait.
Which I don't trust.
Eric is now showing us. You don't have to, Eric. We trust you.
I don't need to see a double me.
I just need 2 Nicks, which is very strange. Okay, Arcane season 2, quick. Only quick because it's first off, its release schedule is very interesting. Okay, backing up a bit. Jack, did you watch Arcane?
No.
What? You can't write off something that you don't even love or hate.
No, I just
that was a write-off. It was just a no. Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Go watch it. You're missing
He's too busy playing League. He's platinum. I don't know if that's a thing in League. Arcane is the League of Legends animated series debuted on Netflix 2 years ago. In a recent report, they just said that the 2 seasons of Arcane, which the show will only be 2 seasons, is the most expensive animated series ever made. And honestly, when you look at it, you're like, yep, that checks out. Because like I say with how I want my Call of Duty campaigns to where I want to see every dollar on the screen, you could see every dollar on the screen here because I'm going to tell you, the French, they're good at a few things. Excellent croissants.
God, Eric, you fuck.
Incredible croissants.
Yeah.
And their animation's just off the fucking charts. It's nuts. They got the minions and they got this.
Oh God. No, I've heard very good things about it. It is actually on my list of things to watch, but that list grows and changes often. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
I think the biggest compliment I can give it, I just did a rewatch of season 1 right before this first batch of season 2 dropped, is not only do you not have to know anything about League of Legends, you can like actively dislike the League of Legends game like I do and still love this thing. Like this might be the most I love an adaptation of something and have zero interest in ever engaging with it outside of its adaptation. The story is genuinely that good. The writing, the animation, the characters, the arc, the way that they structured the first season is this 9-episode season, and each 3 episode is its own sort of contained arc that leads into the next one. Incredibly fulfilling. And I do like their distribution method where it's Netflix, but they drop the 3-episode arcs weekly. So this week they dropped episodes 1, 2, and 3 of season 2, and then next week we'll get a drop of 4, 5, and 6, and then the final 3 episodes on the last day. Because instead of just binging through it, racing to the finish line, and having it all just seep out of my ears afterwards, I've been thinking about this the last 2 days, and I'm gonna be thinking about it all week and kind of theorizing. And
I really like that. Has anyone else released like that, like mini binges, where it's like we're giving you more than 1 episode a week? More to chew on, but we're still teasing it out a little bit. I like that a lot.
I like it too, because sometimes Amazon will do that at the start of a season. Like they'll release the first 3 episodes of The Boys, but then it just becomes weekly afterwards.
Sure.
But releasing each arc by its own, I think works really well. And without going into spoilers for this first arc of season 2, it picks up right where season 1 left off, which was like a fucking incredible moment of like, oh my God, are these characters alive or dead? And deals with the fallout of that, and just again the most incredible stylish animation I'm seeing on TV. Like it's this and Spider-Verse feel like it's they're in a league of its own. Yeah, it's really remarkable. The characters we know from the first season I think are getting making great progress. Like either I'm growing to love them more, or I'm growing to hate them more, or I'm going to hate characters I've loved and love characters I hated. And then introducing new characters. It is really good, and I like the fact that they said this story Arcane is 2 seasons. This is our story, but there's like a fucking 120 League of Legends people, and this show only has like 10 of them in it. So like you can just make it about. And when I'll be like, I finished the first season. I was like, okay, let me look at a list of all of the League of Legends champions to see like, oh, this is who that was. This is who that was. There's so many weird fucking characters in that. There's just like Egyptian gods and robots and like little snarfs. And I'm like, hell yeah, this is great. You can make whatever you want on this. But really, really enjoyed it. I'm assuming you're enjoying it so far, Nick, as well.
Yeah, I haven't watched episode 3 yet, but I've watched the first 2 episodes last night. I'm like, God damn it! This show is just concept art in motion. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, it is.
You could pause any frame of that show and put it on your wall. Like it's insane. And I got curious. Like I went and looked up like the studio that's behind it. I made a post about it. I forget the name of it. You can pull it up, but they're a French studio, and this is like their first like 2 TV series because they've done like advertising and ads and or like trailers and stuff like that for other companies. Sure. But this is their first like full production series. These guys are gonna be sought after by every video game publisher out there to make a series for their games.
Yeah, their name is Fortiche, Fortiche. But yeah, this is their first, like they've done like a small, where they got their start? Doing a little Rabbids, doing a little work on the Rabbids. Casey, wake up! They did work on the Rabbids. They've done music videos for the Gorillas. They did a 2014 music video for Imagine Dragons, which makes sense because this show features the Imagine Dragons as the theme song, and I never thought I'd say this, but it's a no skip. And I do not like Imagine Dragons, but the theme song is an absolute no skip.
Whoa, that's huge.
Yeah, yeah. It's no Toad the Wet Sprocket. Was that the band?
Toadies.
They can't have 2 of those bands.
Toad the Wet Sprocket, I think, was If I Haven't Swim Every 40 Days and the birds going up and the crashing waves. Wait, that's not Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Shit. I'm going hungry. I'm going hungry.
They did do the Groot show on Disney Plus as well for Marvel.
I saw that. I didn't remember that existed.
I did not either until I looked at their website and I was like, oh, they worked on that? Maybe I should go look at that.
Yeah, it seemed absolutely made up. But yeah, they're super talented.
Yeah, I posted like a thread talking about them last night and I was like, man, like, can you imagine if these guys like picked up like Disco Elysium and did something with that? Or Darksiders or whatever? Like, holy fuck.
Yeah. I mean, it's clear that they're not cheap. Judging based on this took several years to make a 9-episode series, and it is reportedly the most expensive.
But it's also hugely successful.
Yeah, I don't know what that means though, right? Like, I don't know. Like that's a thing we don't know in the streaming world is like when they're like, the new Mark Wahlberg movie had 1 billion hours viewed, and you're like, what? Is that good for Netflix? Like, is that worth? Them paying almost like $500 million for the Knives Out trilogy. Is that a good move? I don't like. Yeah, right? Maybe. I don't know.
I always find it funny. Teaser for our conversation later. Brothers is the number 8 movie on Amazon Prime right now. What does that mean?
I always love when like the streaming service is like, this is the number 1 new thing on Netflix. Like, yeah, it's your new thing. I hope so.
Because as soon as I click onto this thing, it's just the first thing that's there. And I'm like, I guess I'll watch this.
It better be the number 1 new thing.
Yeah, you could put anything there and I'll be like, well, I guess.
It's the number 3 new thing. Don't be too excited about it.
No. Yeah, that's ridiculous. And then before we do talk about those titular comedies, Beast March. $2 dono. Thank you so much, Beast March. Afternoon, all. Hope everyone's having a good day. Having a great day. One of us may have had an emotional morning that we'll talk about soon because of something we watched. I believe in Doo-Doo Man with a $2 dono. Thank you so much, Doo-Doo Man. Thank you, Eric. Wink, firing a melee beard away gun. It is insane that I don't know the things that are happening.
He had the my fat face no beard filter on.
It's called My Old Ass, not My Fat Face. That's the sequel story. It's funny you keep saying this.
It's ruining my day.
The 2 versions of you look exactly the same to me, which is I don't know.
Yeah. No, look at the stream. Oh yeah, you don't have the stream.
I'm not watching the stream.
We're not watching the stream.
I'm hosting.
That's for other people.
When he does that, I look like that guy out of Dune that comes out of the black goo.
Oh yeah, Stellan Skarsgård. Yeah.
He's rich. I'm not. So
and he's also got hot sons. His one son's hot. He's in True Blood. His other son's Pennywise. Not kind of hot, but like a weird hot. He does that thing with his eye, which is kind of weird. Speaking of weird hot, Josh Brolin. No, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I think he's just good. I think Josh Brolin's good. Okay, these two movies. When we were thinking of what we wanted, Jack and I like watching a new movie or two for the pod every week.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, these two movies got recommended. The two comedies that have come out in the last month or so on Amazon Prime, and we like comedies, so let's check them out. Yeah. Let's talk about Brothers first.
Oh, please, can we talk about Brothers? Like, some things that we have loved in the past, comedies in general, like you mentioned earlier, are becoming an incredibly rare thing, especially like the capital C comedy, a movie that is pure, like that is billed as just a comedy. That is a very rare thing nowadays. That's why I keep talking about the movie Hundreds of Beavers, which is like, that is a capital C comedy only. Beautiful movie. I know like a few years ago, Bottoms came out, which was really wonderful, like a nice little like coming of age comedy. But in general, it's really rare. Whereas in the 90s, even in the early aughts, you had a slew of nothing but comedies, and comedies were the blockbusters, your Austin Powers, Farrelly Brothers movies, your just about anything, like
leading into the Apatow movies, even in the aughts and everything.
Absolutely.
Have we got anything like We Are the Millers or The Hangover or anything like that in the past decade?
No, because the guy who's making The Hangover is making Joker Folie à Deux now.
He made that?
Yeah, it's Todd Phillips.
Jesus.
And the writer of The Hangover 3 was fucking Craig Mazin, who's making The Last of Us. This is why we don't have comedies anymore.
This is why we don't have comedies anymore. Yeah.
Wow, they became old sad men.
and so like in general, like, so I see, we have a comedy with named actors, directed by someone who directed probably one of my favorite movies of all times, Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Is coming out. It's called Brothers. Peter Dinklage, Josh Brolin, Marissa Tomei is in
Brendan
it.
Fraser. The Fraser-sance continues.
Brendan Fraser is making his comeback. And it's a screwball comedy about a couple of con artists and criminals trying to make a score. I am here for it. It's so fucking bad.
So bad.
The amazing thing about Brothers is I really was paying attention. I had my notebook out and everything. There is no demonstrable joke in the movie. There is nothing in the movie that is set up and payoff that you could describe as a joke. The closest we come is when Josh Brolin falls down and hits a car. That's the closest you come to an actual joke in the movie. It contains no jokes.
I will say, him falling down to hit the car, and then the paramedics are checking him, and they say, "You don't have a concussion, but your BMI is a little high, so you might want to lose some weight." And then he covers himself a little bit. I thought that made me giggle. So one time in a 90-minute movie.
Yes, and again, that was the closest we come to a joke. Arguably, that could be called a joke. But besides that, like, you know, when you think about even like when you think about movies that aren't capital C comedies, like if you think about like the original Ghostbusters, right? That is a comedy movie, but it's about other things. Like you can point to specific jokes. The intro of Ghostbusters is Venkman, who is, performing a test and obviously like, hitting on the girl subject and being mean to the boy subject. That is the joke. Like it is set up and it is paid off. There is nothing even close to that level of joke in Brothers, and that is very important for you to understand.
Can I recommend you another movie called
We're
Brothers?
Talking about Brothers. Oh, sure.
It's also called Brothers. It's just directed by Jim Sheridan and features Tobey Maguire. Definitely a comedy movie.
Is that? Oh yeah, I remember this movie with Natalie Portman. It's like she's sleeping with one brother, and then he like goes to Iraq and dies, and then she starts sleeping with the other brother, but then the one brother comes back from Iraq because he didn't die. It's a laugh out loud riot. It is not. It is not comedy. But no, Brothers. it is marketed. Brothers is marketed as the comedy. Like this is this is supposed to be a slapstick screwball hijinks caper, like a couple of down on their luck chuckle fucks who are trying to trying to make their way in the world and maybe get a little money, a little dosh along the way.
Yeah, no, like, and even so, we're going to talk about My Old Ass later. Like My Old Ass, when it shows up on Amazon, comedy is the very first thing you see. After you click on it to get more information, you see comedy drama. Brothers is comedy. You click on it, and it is just billed as a comedy. Like on IMDb, it's dark comedy, action comedy, crime are the genres. Crime? Okay. No jokes. Where were we? I'm sorry. Wait, I was thinking about Tobey Maguire now.
No, the movie is just it retreads ground that several movies have done better. And the movie we both thought of was Logan Lucky, which Steven Soderbergh made with Daniel Craig and Channing Tatum and Adam Driver, which I believe they called Ocean's 7-Eleven, to where it's like a heist movie, a caper movie, a con artist movie, but starring dipshits, which I kind of love. I like dipshits. And so that is a good formula that just fundamentally does not work in Brothers on any level whatsoever, despite having incredibly talented actors. Glenn Close plays the mom, like incredibly talented actor.
No, and well, I think like Logan Lucky is a really wonderful compare and contrast, because there's something in comedy that we refer to as the height of your intelligence. If you play any character, you should play that character at the height of that character's intelligence. You never ever want the audience to feel sorry for you. If they are going, aw, they are not laughing, right? So you want to so Logan Lucky has a bunch of dipshits in it, but they're playing at the height of their own intelligence, and they think they are being really good at this. Dumb and Dumber is a great example. Obviously, Harry and Lloyd are idiots, but they are playing at the height of their own intelligence, right? Yeah. They are making decisions that make sense within the context of their character. Whereas in Brothers, you feel incredibly sorry for these brothers at all times. Like Josh Brolin's character, like his story arc starts with him getting fired. He has a new wife. He has a baby on the way, and he's meeting his wife's family. And we just and that's the setup for his character to go on a madcap adventure where he falls down and hits a car. Like, you do not feel like there is no height of their intelligence. He is just a guy down on his luck and sad, and then bad things happen to him.
Well, and I think this movie tries to walk a Coen Brothers-esque tightrope. Like Raising Arizona is another movie this reminded me of. And the difference is that the Coen brothers are generational talents, and that this movie's story was by Ethan Coen, who is not a Coen brother, despite his name being similar to the Coens.
By Ethan Coen, the famed writer of Holmes and Watson and Get Hard.
Wait, that's different than Walk Hard, right? Because Walk Hard is great.
That is Get Hard is Will Ferrell and
John C. Reilly.
Kevin Hart.
Oh yeah, I always get John C. Reilly. I was still thinking of Walk Hard.
You are still thinking of Walk Hard. Yeah, so it's basically sad people who are at really low points of their life getting shit on over and over again. And
like that's a lot of comedy stuff lately.
Well, it is, which is like it's shocking to me, because this is like comedy 101. The very first thing in comedy is kind of a lowering of status, right? Like the example that is really easy to go to is like a Looney Tunes cartoon. If you see like a hoity-toity lady and she's walking a freshly pampered poodle, and they kind of look a little high class, a little highfalutin, and the fancy poodle, they're walking all smug and shit, and a car drives by and it gets them covered in mud, you laugh because they lower their status, right? But if a down on their luck guy is walking a dog who also looks like a mongrel, and they all look sad, and then they get covered in mud, you just feel sad for them. And that's what Brothers is. It's sad people who bad things happen to.
And it feels like it keeps trying to it is simultaneously dumb as rocks, but also trying to say something. Like the climax of the movie takes place in an abandoned mall. Like we all have a mall in our town where it's like, man, I used to go to this mall as a kid and now it's just fucking empty and sad. It's like a derelict mall. There's like YouTube documentaries devoted to breaking into old derelict malls and just walking through them and filming it. And so it feels like it is trying to say something about the current state of America, but it's not good at the comedy and it's not good at saying anything. So what is this thing?
That's the point I was going to make is so much comedy these days feels like it's trying to say something instead of just, and that's not comedies can't not say things. I think a good example is Click, is spending time with your family and all that, and making sure that you're there in the moment for those things. I think that was a fun message, but that movie was funny throughout, even though it had a message throughout, but it was portrayed through the comedy, not almost separating into two different movies, which is what I feel like so many comedies do. The one I was thinking about that I watched recently was Me Time, which is it's an American buddy comedy on Netflix with Kevin Hart and Mark Wahlberg. And
almost this movie comes out every year. A buddy comedy with those two. It is nuts. And it goes straight to Netflix, and Netflix says 9 billion people watch this, and I'm like, what is this movie?
Yeah, and I saw one clip of it on social media. I was like, that was funny. I'll go watch this movie, and then I was watching it. I'm like, this sucks. This is terrible.
It's people kind of confused, understanding or seeing something, trying to replicate it without understanding what it is they are replicating, right? And so you see something like Dumb and Dumber, and you see oh, these are some assholes and bad things happen to them, and so you just make that without understanding the actual why this is funny. I think could you imagine it Home Alone, I think is a movie that makes me laugh every single year. And Harry and Marv, the criminals, they are bad guys. And so then when bad things happen to them, it invokes a laughing response. And of course it's a lot of Looney Tunes logic, but it's oh, these are bad guys who are trying to rob a defenseless child. When they get hit in the nuts with a paint can, that is deserved. That is hilarious. Could you imagine if they made a Home Alone movie and the kid was the rich asshole and the criminals were just trying to get their property back, but the criminals still got hit in the nuts with paint cans? That would be that would be bizarro opposite world. Yes, that movie does exist, by the way. It was the new Home Alone movie in which the kids stole the item and the people just wanted their item back. And
I forgot about that. The Disney Plus one. Yeah.
Yes. So it is a genuine fundamental lack of understanding of basic comedy, and this movie got produced. It is fucking baffling.
We're getting a Step Brothers sequel. Wonder how that's gonna be modernized.
Great. So we talk about this where did the theatrical comedy go? And there's a lot of answers to that. There are streaming series that do comedy. We get, maybe in another world we would have had Veep would have been a movie or something.
Sure.
Comedies have merged into dramas. Some of the funniest moments on that I've seen over the past couple of years have been on shows like The Bear and Barry and Succession that I would not say are comedies. They have very funny moments, but they are not comedies. The general quipification, there's a little bit of a goof in every action. You got to get your Marvel goofs in there. You got to get your goofs in there.
Goofs in. Yeah,
they're everywhere. And then there's also these streaming movies, these Kevin Hart, Mark Wahlberg movies that I swear to Christ come out once a month on Netflix, and I'm like, where is this coming from? Also, I feel like Kevin Hart is a psyop. I do not think Kevin Hart is a movie star. They keep telling us he is. Clearly something's going on there, but when I look at his highest grossing movies, his top 4 movies are the 2 Jumanji movies, which I will are ensemble casts, and B, are better than the original Jumanji, but that's a conversation for another time.
Wow.
And then the Secret Lives of Pets animated movies. His highest grossing live action movie that isn't one of those is Ride Along, and it only made $130 million. He doesn't feel like a theatrical movie star, and yet he headlines a Netflix movie that is fucking plastered at the front of my screen every time I turn it once a month.
Yeah.
He's at his best when he's paired with somebody that can just screw with him, and that The Rock does that. Like they have their whole, like they're huge on social media because like they will do stupid challenges together. Honestly, they're like outtakes and bloopers from their movies are funnier than they are.
Is that where did comedy just go to like YouTube and TikTok and Shorts?
Oh yeah,
like
I think so.
Is that where comedy went?
I like comedy. A lot of comedy and like mainstream comedy is either very focused on sarcasm and quips to these days.
That was an interesting emphasis.
It was the sarcasm.
Sarcasm.
Yeah,
it's a disease.
Obviously, like there's a lot of like, I'm sure, producer math for comedies, and of course, kind of like the desperate starification. Like we need to put a big celebrity in our movie, or it won't do anything. Big celebrities cost a lot of money. Comedies are hit or miss, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas no, just put out a fucking comedy with a nobody, and maybe it's funny and people will like it. But movie studios don't really do that anymore. I think like Netflix and Amazon are still kind of in that quasi space where they can experiment and take risks. Obviously, Brothers did not work, but it did get us My Old Ass, which I think did work. Not a comedy, but also, yeah, people aren't desperate for comedy anymore. Like if you watch an old comedy, you will see three things. You will possibly see something that is just funny. You will definitely see something that is today considered problematic. And three, you will probably see something that is very horny.
Yeah.
Right? And we don't need horny things in movies anymore because the internet takes care of that. Right. Oh, or we have HBO.
No, young generations don't like horny things. That's like the whole thing. Is like that's why they didn't kiss at the end of Twisters.
Yeah,
focus testing was like we don't want them to kiss.
We don't want them to kiss.
Tornado.
Uh-oh. Young people don't like horny things, and if they get horny, there's a million porn websites that we can discuss later. Don't worry, that you can go to take care of horny. I think
give me their URLs just so I can block them. I want to make sure I block them.
Yeah. Your government will do that for you now.
I think there is a large set of dickhead comedians who like would be on scripts to write up or to punch up scripts who are now worried about being problematic or how the woke killed comedy, who in actuality are just hack comedy writers. Mm-hmm. But I think like there is kind of a pullback from their sense of like, oh, I don't want to write a joke that will be considered problematic later. Those people are obviously wrong and dickheads. But that mixed with the studio's risk aversion means that comedies aren't happening anymore. And of course, we can all see comedy anytime we want. We'll go to YouTube, we'll go to TikTok, we'll go to Instagram and watch that man. Who's that man that will like point a thing out and then have the phone up in his mirror and be like, come here, and then zoom in and explain stuff in a funny way. That's funny. Yeah. We don't need movies. We have that man.
Yeah.
We also have some of the shining beacons of comedy of their generation hit a point where they're like, we want to make things that aren't comedies. Yeah, so you get your Donald Glovers, your Jordan Peele's, your Bill Hader's, something that I'm assuming is going to happen with John Mulaney, where they're going to be like, I want to make a serious thing. And I'm probably going to be pretty fucking good at it because those first three guys I mentioned are pretty fucking good at it. Yeah, One person, though, is carrying the torch, who will always be a comedian until he dies, is Tim Robinson. I think he should leave. Like, that is the only true comedy that exists in America, is I think you should leave. And it's because every goof is like, here's 90 seconds, and it's going to be just an insane goof to where we refuse to accept any notes, and then we're going to move on to the next one.
Yeah. Stuff like I Think You Can Leave. It's probably considered an older series now, but Pen 15, which was a wonderful show. The new show, English Teacher.
Oh, which is great. Yeah.
Which, very fun. Like there's some really good streaming shows that are very, very funny. I like a comedy movie though, and shit, Brothers shit the bed. And tried to. Oh my! There is a sequence in this movie where one of the brothers gets sexually molested by an orangutan. Mm-hmm. This is, of course, supposed to be a joke because it's a bonkers situation. But again, this is the brother who recently got fired from his job, whose wife is expecting their first baby, and who is like just so desperate for cash that he's going on this trip so he can provide for his family. After, by the way, he had an incredibly traumatic childhood because of his own mother, and we are supposed to laugh because a monkey is sexually abusing him.
And again, this is the star of Academy Award winner No Country for Old Men, Josh Brolin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And his brother, Emmy winner, Tyrion Lannister. What's his name?
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage. Sorry. Very good.
Amazing quality actors who, I'd like to say are giving it their all. I'm going to blame this purely. This is writer, director, editor, not having any sort of comedy whatsoever. Yeah.
And I grew up with stuff like Napoleon Dynamite, Benchwarmers, the scary movies, all the parody.
Scary movies. Really? No. But it's coming back to the Wayne brothers, which is where they started and where they were good.
What do you think they're going to spoof? Do you think they're going to spoof on like the highbrow A24 horror?
I fucking hope so. Yeah, absolutely. They're 100% gonna like have like a sexy horror scene that gets all goofy.
We need to all compile lists of 10 movies we think that they're gonna like. What are the odds they're gonna spoof on Skinamarink? Are they gonna do like a Skinamarink deep cut?
Oh, they gotta do the Babadook.
Oh, you got a Babadook.
We're gonna do a Wayans Brothers scary movie bingo card. You make your own bingo card, and you fill in your own bingo card, and we'll see who the winner is.
That movie just became my most anticipated movie.
That's great. That's really great. Yeah.
I also grew up with all the parody movies when they were making Paranormal Activity parody movies and all that stuff.
Yes,
like we don't get any of those comedy movies
exist anymore.
That's
right?
Like because they milked them to death and then they make no money.
They killed them. Yeah.
It's fun because the 80s was like the decade of the spoof, right? That was we had our Hot Shots, we had our Mel Brooks movies and everything. We had Airplane. Some of those might have been late 70s.
Some of those were 70s. Some of those were 90s. Yeah.
Some of those were 90s. I don't know how time works. And then it feels like they went away for a little bit. And then we got our scary movie, our Not Another Teen movie, our all of those things. And it's just like a post irony world that we just can't have things been parodied too much.
Well, once again, it was a studio churn, right? They wanted to start churning these out so fast that there was no quality control. And so instead of writing jokes for all of the abundance of not another superhero movie, not another this movie, not another this movie, instead of writing jokes, they would just reference things because that's what Family Guy did. And so they just literally stopped putting jokes in their movies. They only would reference pop culture things, which might elicit some sort of reaction at the time, but then immediately was dated 2 months after the movie came out.
Is the rise of parody movies the reason for Marvel's referencing everything?
Oh,
that's a video. There's a video essay on Darren.
Comics do that, right? Like
comics do that.
Self-referential.
But to pop culture though,
I would say Family Guy is probably the right.
Family,
Family Guy did it because The Simpsons did it. Like, how many movies? Like, Jack, we're close in age. How many movies did you learn about through The Simpsons? Yes. And then eventually you were like, oh, this is Citizen Kane. Oh, this is Shining. Oh, this is
The Simpsons were doing it. But The Simpsons was able to literally not name drop it. Like The Simpsons would do an entire Citizen Kane spoof without saying Citizen Kane, and the Family Guy came along and said Citizen Kane. Family Guy was the dumbing down, and then the Not Anothers dumbed it down again. So Nick, what was your question about Marvel referencing?
I'm just thinking like the parody movies as they grew in, like they were funny at first, like you said, they were writing jokes, they were referencing things while being like on the nose about it, but not saying like, remember this thing? Right. And then Marvel, like over time, didn't reference all that stuff at the start, and over time their comment, like Marvel movies at the start had some good comedy, and I remember like good jokes in Iron Man 1 and everything.
Oh yeah, Robert Downey
Where it wasn't
Jr.
like super, where it wasn't super quippy and referential to everything.
Also, I still think Thor Ragnarok is really funny. Like Taika Waititi is fading away a little bit, but I think that is a very funny movie still.
No, and I am of the personal opinion that these movies are not nearly as quippy as people think they are. But also quipping is incredibly in character for comic book heroes because that's the way comic books are written. So like, I guess I've never been bothered by the quippy nature. Who was it? Someone put out a really fun video.
Rules and Blade quips all the time.
Someone put out a really fun video, kind of like looking at the history of the "that just happened" gag, which did not start in Marvel movies. Yeah, it started in like a John C. Reilly movie or something.
God, it was walking.
That just happened, but or not John C. Reilly, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah.
Oh, was it the Along Came Polly where he shits himself while playing basketball? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. Also, I just want to say really quick, Scary Movie 3, Scary Movie 4, and Superhero Movie, all written by Craig Mazin, who would go on to create Chernobyl and is the showrunner of The Last of Us. He is someone who I'm like, he's like, I have committed so many sins, I need to repent by creating two of the best dramas of the decade.
One conversation about comedy that we haven't gone into, it's a conversation that like I remember having with Yahtzee. I think Marty, you were there too, about like Yahtzee's favorite humor in games is honestly physical humor. And like I feel like movies have lost a lot of that, especially in comedy movies. Like some of the best moments in Step Brothers, for example, it's just the physical comedy that happens, him beating the shit out of the drum kit and chasing him down the hall.
We have like good physical comedians anymore.
Right,
like a good mainstream. Like,
do we have?
I can't think
comedians anymore.
They're all on Instagram and TikTok.
That's like my genuine question is: do something? I think I brought up before we started streaming. This is something I brought up a while ago. Every rock star wants to be a comedian. Every comedian wants to be a rock star. Brothers is a movie full of rock stars. They are full of really good actors who I think they're funny. None of them are comedians. Do we have?
They're all great dramatic actors.
They're all great actors. Period.
Yeah.
Do we have comedians anymore? I don't know.
Is there an actor we can even think of that we would consider like full on?
I mean, is that what Kevin Hart is?
No.
I don't think he's a good one, but
I guess that's what he wants to be. Yeah.
Kevin Hart is a stand-up comic. Yes, Kevin Hart is 100% a comedian. He is not a new comedian. He's an old actor. Yeah. Kevin Hart is 100% a comedian. He, like I said, he does stand-up comedy. 100%.
Yeah.
We don't have like a Chris Farley of this generation.
I don't know if we have any sort of comedian who I'm seeing a lot in chat. People are like, oh, they make YouTube videos. They do podcasts. They don't, because like, remember, like back in the day, was your path. Like if you were an entertainer, eventually you were trying to get to Hollywood. Now you're not necessarily trying to do that anymore. Like media has changed so severely. That's not the end goal anymore. There are some fantastically funny YouTube creators out there who that's their whole job is they make funny, silly YouTube videos, and they might have been movie stars 20 years ago, right? Yeah. This isn't a sad thing, by the way. This is like
it's changing. The world has changed.
Well, yeah, I mean, like studios just don't fund comedy movies anymore. So where do you go? Yeah, and like I guess don't know a whole lot about like the indie movie scene and what's out there. Maybe there's some hidden gem comedy movies in the indie scene,
possibly.
But like but like Netflix feels like it tried to get that niche of like those dumb comedy movies, and they just have not been able to do it.
Yeah.
No, actually, they do, like we just gloss over them. Maybe they do work, and maybe we're just not the target audience anymore. Clearly, if they're spending money on these Kevin Hart movies, people are watching them, and they're continuing to do it. So
the biggest comedy movie in the last like few years was Anyone But You.
Yeah, earlier this
Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney.
Glenn Powell's a multi-hyphenate, I think. And maybe I'm just being bedazzled by his looks. I think he's funny, and I think he can lead an action movie. And Tom Cruise is grooming him to be not grooming him. Jesus, Tom Cruise is. Tom Cruise has like taken him under his wing and is like, "You are going to be the next me." Like Tom Cruise wants him to take over Mission Impossible, like that kind of thing.
Oh yeah. And by the way, these are all fine examples. But romantic comedies still exist. Hell, Hallmark puts out 40 every December.
Yeah.
Like the hyphen comedy, I don't think will ever go away. The action comedy, the whatever comedy, but like the comedy might be relegated to short form now, which is still okay because we still get it and like creators get to be very expressive. But now instead of being under the oppressive Hollywood system, they're under the oppressive YouTube algorithm or the oppressive TikTok system, right? Where it's like it's all bullshit, which is beautiful.
Or a movie is labeled as a comedy first, and then you turn it on, and it rips your goddamn heart out.
Oh yeah!
Excellent segue, Marty. Beautiful.
So I think the one movie that Jack and I could both recommend, not if you want to have a good time, well, not if you want to have a funny time, but if you want to have a very good watching experience.
Yes.
The second of the Amazon quote unquote comedies, My Old Ass, which just debuted and is co-starring Aubrey Plaza, who's having a moment. I've been saying Aubrey Plaza's having a moment for like 15 years. It's having a moment.
No, she is not having a moment. Aubrey Plaza is like the star name in this. Like she is the thing that people that
She's
will
the
make
titular
people.
old ass.
She's the titular old ass. Aubrey Plaza is a name. We can't. I think she would like to still be considered like the underdog, but she's a huge name now. She's the reason why a lot of people will be watching this movie. Phenomenal film, absolutely wonderful and funny and heartbreaking and enjoyable. And this is a mathematically textbook perfect coming of age comedy. Absolute coming of age dramedy. Ooh,
it did make me laugh. Like there is the performances are incredible. There's some very funny writing, but it is like at its heart it has a fucking capital M message that by the end of the movie like hits you like a ton of bricks. And I guess that I shared the trailer there, and is the premise a spoiler?
No,
did you know the premise going into it?
Yeah, because anything that's listed like on the Amazon page is non-spoiler territory.
Okay, so it's a movie about, I think it's in like sort of like Ontario, like Canada. It takes place between Canada and Michigan, and it's a girl graduated high school and is getting ready to move to the big city to leave her small town, her parents' cranberry farm, and she's at that point where a lot of people have gotten to where it's like, I'm so fucking over this place. 300 people live in this town, this podunk backwards thing. And like, I just want to move to the big city and really start my life. And it's not like her life's bad. Like her parents seem really sweet. She's got two kind of weirdo brothers, but like weirdos in a good way. And so a couple nights before she leaves, her and her friends buy a bunch of mushrooms and take a bunch of mushrooms in the woods and see what their trip is going to be like. And her trip, she doesn't really get high, but she manifests herself from 20 years in the future to appear, who is played by Aubrey Plaza. And it's like, it's not like, oh, is she just like, it's literally just her from 20 years in the future, and how the two of them communicate and then build a relationship and start like calling each other and texting each other through time and everything. And you can understand how if anyone who's in their 30s or 40s would get a chance to talk to themselves right finishing high school, the advice you might give yourself and how you might be like, you're kind of an asshole, like you were kind of a shithead.
Not only the advice that you would give yourself, but understanding that your past self would not listen to you.
Yes. Yeah, and your past self would roast who you are now, and you'd be like, well, you don't fucking know anything, you're an idiot. But just a really great, like you said, a coming of age movie, a sort of turning of the page movie, this is the end of one chapter of my life and the beginning of the next. Great performances top to bottom, written and directed by Megan Park, who has just suddenly become like a voice to where I'm like, okay, day one for whatever you do next.
Megan Park, who like you probably will not know, not a huge name, has like made a mild acting career in mostly kind of like second girl banana in rom-coms.
Yeah.
Like she's not even the main love interest in rom-coms. She's like the best friend or like the wife or the girlfriend who they need to get rid of. Like,
yeah. But it's just, it turns out your true calling is like you're a really great writer and like a really competent director. Like this movie's like really like gorgeous. Like this just obviously was filmed there. I think she grew up in Ontario, so she has a familiarity with the place. But like, I just part of me just likes seeing a place that feels real, and I'm like, oh, this is a cranberry farm. This is an actual cranberry farm.
Yeah.
Like
the most surprising thing for me is this movie is so good and so deep and so personal that I really thought this was kind of autobiographical. You know, I thought this was very like The Big Sick, if anyone remembers the Kumail Nanjiani movie, where it's just like, oh, this was her growing up, and it is not. This is just a story that she came up with, but it feels so real and so personal. So her talent as a writer and director, I don't know, like how you can like, this is someone who is so competent. Give them whatever they want. They will make you a good movie.
I completely agree. And also the lead. So the main character at 18 is played by Maisie Stella, who I realized I was dating a girl like 10 years ago who used to watch the show Nashville, which was like a soap opera about country stars in Nashville. And she played like the young daughter, but she was like a child in that. So I was like, oh, that's what I know you from. But she's also one of those, the performance is so good. And like the fact that she's going toe to toe and like with Aubrey Plaza, who's clearly become like an incredible performer in her own right. But just so many people in this movie to where I'm like, okay, I got like season tickets now. Like whatever you do next, I'm in.
Literally, so Megan Park is the writer director. Anything she makes from now on, I'm there opening day. The way that she is able to elicit chemistry, because obviously, like it's coming of age. There is some, young college age romance here and there. The chemistry that she is able to elicit from these incredibly talented actors. If you were to tell me that this was that like the two that are in a relationship are actually in a relationship, this is Tom Holland Zendaya level chemistry.
I looked up Maisie Stella. You know who she's in a relationship with? Bella Ramsey, who plays from The Last of Us.
Oh,
plays Ellie in The Last of Us. I'm like, okay, this is a new power couple. This is a new power couple now.
There you go.
Yeah, just great movie. I also kept getting worried. I was like, is this going to get a little like? Is this going to go into a direction where I'm going to be like, oh, this is going to be a feel bad movie? But it's feel bad in a good way, not feel bad. I kept being like, what's Chad going to do? Fucking Chad. I also don't trust anyone named Chad.
Fucking Chad. Great choice, by the way, to call him Chad. Great choice.
Because immediately I don't trust him. Can't trust a single Chad. Really Chad Powers. Starring Glenn Powell. I trust him because he's Glenn Powell.
This is, by the way, like this is it's schmaltz. Like this is definitely up there. This is a teen girl coming of age dramedy. Be prepared for a fair amount of schmaltz, but it's that beautiful schmaltz where you want to cry with them, you want to see them grow, and will they or will they not? Oh, it's every bit of it is beautiful. This would have been if this would have come out, in the 90s, this is someone's favorite. This hopefully is someone's favorite movie 20 years from now.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sorry, I was saying Chad, not Chat. Chat, you're fine. Chad. Unless your name is Chad, in which case I don't trust you. Unless
Chad Power. Chad is a bad guy. Yeah.
Going back 20 years really quick. So we are about to.
Are you talking about your 20? You're talking to yourself from 20 years ago?
No. But I think we're about to have. We've had like the games renaissance from the 90s, like remakes of all those games. I think we're about to have that for the movies, but sequels, comedy movies. Because I was thinking, as you guys were talking about that, like I feel like I've heard a lot of sequels come in for movies that were like popular back then. So we're getting Happy Gilmore 2, we're getting Freaky Friday 2, we are getting Shrek 5. So we are currently getting ready to retread all of the popular comedy movies from back.
Yeah, scary movie comedies. We got the Matrix Resurrections. We're getting Gladiator 2. They're going back to fucking Gollum, who I thought was dead.
These are the things
I don't
we
even
need
know
to
what
stop.
Gollum was doing. Yeah.
These are the things that are that need to stop, and we need to say no to these.
Yeah, say no to drugs
say no.
and say
Everything's
no
a
to legacy
franchise.
sequels.
Like while Twisters somehow worked, I went in batting against it. I think Adam Sandler still has some comedy into it, so I'm going to be there for Happy Gilmore too. But
his
in general,
best movies lately have been his dramas.
You know what? I'm going to stand for Hubie Halloween. I'm there for it.
Hubie Halloween.
I'm going to stand for Hubie Halloween. If you saw his most recent stand-up special, the one that the Chris Farley song was a part of, a glorious stand-up special. I still think he's got it in him. But
two great moments in Hubie Halloween: the Shaq reveal and when he drinks stuff and then throws up.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful. It's a must-watch every Halloween. Yeah. Like I suppose to me, My Old Ass is the I'm glad we ended on this because we get to end on a bit of a positive note. This is the positive side of streaming services like Amazon, like Netflix, where Amazon is able to make this because there is an audience for this. It's well made. Megan Park, the cast, who's mostly a younger, unknown cast, gets a little street cred in a safe space where if they fail, it kind of goes away. If they succeed big, they succeed. So this is the counterbalance to the Brothers of the world.
Yeah. And I imagine this was a relatively cheap movie to make. Either most of the money went to Aubrey Plaza, or she was like, I really like this script and I want to help out, so I'll work for cost, that kind of thing. But there has to be, I think there's an actual term for that, not working for cost. That's
scale is what it's
called. Cost is like if you buy bologna. Bologna from a wholesaler.
Aubrey Plaza's the baloney.
It's the bologna, but it's the bologna where you cut into it and it has the clown face.
Yes,
I don't like that bologna at all. But yeah, high recommendation for My Old Ass, a nice tight 90, and it's on Amazon Prime. So watch it. Get some Kleenexes. It's this is one of those though. I made the mistake of watching it this morning. Woke up, got my coffee ready. Ooh, I'm gonna snuggle into a little Aubrey Plaza comedy, bawling my goddamn eyes out for a good hour. You know what? This
right
movie also
on the podcast.
This is one of the first. Oh no, Megan Park's my age. Never mind. I was gonna say we're getting to that point where there's musical things referencing music. I guess it would be these characters' childhoods, where there's a whole bit referencing a specific Justin Bieber song, and I was just like, I don't know what this song is.
Yeah.
Whereas there's so many bits where you reference a 90s song or an aught song. I'm like, I know what this is. This is Toad the Wet Sprocket and or the Toadies and or Temple of the Dog. Whereas with this, I was like, oh, I don't know this song. This isn't one of the 3 Bieber songs I know. By
the way, again, her credit as a writer, who she is our age, but was able to insert something that is true to the character, Justin Bieber, infatuation, which is great.
The characters. When earlier this summer, when I went to my family reunion, I was with a bunch of my cousins and nieces and nephews who are in their mid to late teens. You have teenagers. They're teenagers, right? Yeah. And so and I felt like they talked like them. I was like, this feels very authentic. Whereas sometimes you could tell it's you're 40 years old writing for a 20-year-old, and that's not how a 20-year-old sound anymore.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Exactly.
Yeah. But again, credit to the cast, credit to her as a director to if she wrote something that was how do you do, fellow, this is full of Riz. And the kids will say, we absolutely would not say that. Talent, credit to her as a director. This was produced by Margot Robbie's production company.
Yeah.
Credit to them as a production company to hopefully work with everyone to make it just seem so fucking natural. This was, I feel great about watching this movie after watching Brothers.
I forgot, I was going to mention the Margot Robbie thing too. I fucking love it when an actor becomes massive and has carte blanche and then uses that power to throw money and weight against small voices to allow them to make these kind of things. We say that we want that in games all the time of hey, if you make
movies too.
Yeah, if you make a game that fucking sells 50 million copies, use that power to help fund a bunch of small indies, like as you make your next thing. That's cool.
This is something Yahtzee and I talked about ages and ages ago. Tent poles, not crucifixes. This is something underneath, the tent pole of Margot Robbie that could become a huge thing, but if not, it's not a big deal because it's under the Margot Robbie tent pole. Unlike the other the remakes that are just sticking with their crucifixes. Watch it. Go. It's on Amazon Prime. We all have Amazon Prime for the free shipping, so just go fucking watch it.
That's how you get diapers.
That's how you get diapers.
That's how you get diapers.
Free business advice from Jack to all the people that are like, Yahtzee's the only thing that matters.
Yeah. Like literally, that's what we try to do here. Yahtzee is our tentpole, 100%.
Yep.
We respect that, and we keep trying new things because that's how we grow. Instead of having the one crucifix that fully Ramblomatic is pinned to.
Yeah, when you climb a ladder, don't pull up the ladder behind you. Put down a second ladder behind you. Let two people.
Somebody really mean below you.
Yeah, someone you can fucking patches that right off the hill. Excellent. We'll go over the last swath of super chats before. Jack, you don't have do you have a to be fair?
I do have a to be fair.
Will you got time? I'm gonna go over the super chats. Old Hunter with a $2 dono. Thank you so much. Going back to Kristen Milioti for more Kristen Milioti. Made for Love on HBO Max. That was the show where she was like being stalked by her like weird like tech bro. That was Billy Magnuson. She was almost dating like a Elon Musk character. That was going on. She's really good. She's really good. Also starring Ray Romano, which my old ass has a good Ray Romano joke. It's rare that there's a good Ray Romano joke that doesn't involve the man Ray Romano himself. And my old ass has it.
By the way, my old ass has a good Ray Romano joke.
She has a really good Ray Romano joke, yeah.
This is a real thing.
Pure Pyro with a €2 dono. Ray Romano is also really good in The Big Sick. Yeah.
Oh my God, Ray Romano is so good. The Big Sick, by the way, is good movie. Again, an Amazon movie, like small. This is the benefit
so
of
Amazon's
the streamers.
beating Netflix at its own game. That's what
I also thought after The Big Sick, I thought we'd get like a movie from the two of them, like from him and Emily Gordon, like every 2 years, and then we just kind of haven't.
They told kind of their story, and apparently that's all they had in them.
And I guess they've like produced stuff like that, like Little America and the Chippendale Show, which I didn't watch. But yeah, I was too bad. I thought it was a Rescue Rangers show, and it just turned out it was about male strippers. So I got tricked. Pure Pyro with a €2 dono. Thank you so much. Wet Hot American Summer, still the best comedy. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's also just the most stacked cast you can imagine.
The most stacked cast before they were the most stacked cast. Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's another movie, Short Term 12. Did you ever see that? No. That's a fucking heartbreaker. If you want to watch a heartbreaker, it was the first movie from Destin Daniel Cretton, who would go on to direct Shang-Chi and is like directing the new Spider-Man movie. But it's a movie about like a rehabilitation center from when did this come out? 2013, so 11 years ago. And this is starring Brie Larson, Caitlin Dever, who's going to be in The Last of Us, Rami Malek, Lakeith Stanfield, Stephanie Beatriz, who starred on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like, it is wild to see all those people right before they all blew up. So that's a good one. Sussy Guru with a €5 dono. Thank you so much. Speaking of brothers, the Brothers Grimsby. Now that's a comedy. It's the Brothers Grimsby?
The Brothers Grimsby.
Grimsby. No, Grimsby? It's different.
Is it?
Literally a movie called The Brothers Grimsby with Sacha Baron Cohen and Mark Strong and Isla Fisher.
Oh, maybe I don't know this movie then.
Directed by Louis Leterrier. This sounds bad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great.
This sounds bad. I don't think I'm going to watch The Brothers Grimsby's. Grimsby's hard to say. Hard to say? Oh, no. I hit that point in the podcast where we got to stop. Oh, no. True Mando. Thank you so much, Mando. How uncomfortable was the Marissa Tomei scene for you? I mean, I'm never going to be upset when Marissa Tomei appears in a movie. I do think her chimp sexually assaulting Josh Brolin probably wasn't necessary.
Yeah, that's the like. It's the incredibly frustrating part about Brothers is they keep tricking you. Like they keep putting you in situations where you go, oh, this is a really good setup. The setup for that scene is Peter Dinklage is an ex-con and he is out of jail under kind of like nefarious circumstances that's why he needs to go on the heist. But he wants to meet up with his prison pen pal Marissa Tomei, who's a little eccentric. That is a perfect setup for some jokes. An ex-con, an eccentric pen pal, any sort of joke there would have been great. Mm-hmm. But the joke they went with is Marissa Tomei is so eccentric, she has a pet orangutan who sexually assaults Josh Brolin. And then they run away. That's the scene.
A real monkey or was that CG? I'm serious. I was looking at it.
That is a CG monkey.
None of it was a real monkey.
I don't believe any of that was a real monkey.
Sound off in the comments below. I don't know who I'm talking to. The monkey wrangler on the movie. George Lucas with a €2 dono. Thank you so much, George. HBD 20 to Anchorman and Rat Race. Oh no, HBD 20 to Anchorman, and then Rat Race is underrated. Separate thoughts.
That's a fun.
HBD to Anchorman. Anchorman is that's a pillar. That was a pillar for me. Rat Race, I haven't seen. I liked it in theaters. I don't think I've seen it since. It's got Mr. Bean though. We all love Mr. Bean.
It does have Rowan Atkins. Yeah.
Before we got started on Windbreaker the other day, Jimate and Yasi fucking love Rowan Atkinson. Oh my god! I know it's unsurprising because he's like a national treasure to them, but my god, those dudes love him.
He's a brilliant comedian. Yes.
Yeah. And they were talking about how Mr. Bean is only like 20 episodes long. And everyone assumes like there's a million of them, but no. Mm-hmm.
It's only 20 episodes, and each episode is only like 6 minutes. It's insane.
That's what comedy wants.
Yeah.
It left with Mr. Bean.
It left with Mr. Bean. Yeah.
Last couple super chats. Water Hazard. Thank you so much. $4.99 dono. We're gonna need a wellness check on Darren. He's logged the Phantom Menace 3 times on Letterboxd in the past 24 hours. I mean, that has to be a glitch. What's going on? He's not writing anything about Star Wars for us, so maybe he's doing it for someone else, or maybe they're covering it on a podcast.
He's doing some prep work. Yeah.
Well, his article title: "I've watched the Phantom Menace so many times, I'm just ready to leave."
How do we want to be around anymore? I'll look into that, see what's going on. We'll ask him over the weekend when we get him on the show. It'll be an intervention. Why did you watch Phantom Menace 3 times?
If we see his pants, we know there's a problem.
Oh god, that's a reference you need to have watched earlier, because it's going to sound like he either has a boner or something. George Lucas with a €2 dono. Thank you so much. Did you fellas enjoy This Is the End from 2013?
I remember that movie.
That is the apocalypse movie in which all of the comedic actors play themselves in Hollywood during an apocalypse.
Correct. Directed by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, and then starring Franco, Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen, Jay Baruchel, Michael Cera, Craig Robinson, Emma Watson.
What is
I did not know.
What is the? I did not enjoy it. There's a cop movie with a similar title. I forget what it's called.
Well, there was The World's
End of the Watch.
The End of Watch, is that what it was called?
The End of the Watch is
End of Watch, right? For some stupid reason, I always confuse This Is the End and End of Watch. I don't know why.
I always title-wise, I always get This Is the End and World's End.
Anytime I hear This Is the End, I think of End of Watch, and then anytime I hear End of Watch, I think of This Is the End.
Oh my god.
Very different movies.
I never saw it because my assumption was that all of the jokes were going to be very inside baseball and just like, isn't it funny that celebrities, how celebrities act during an apocalypse? And that's not I don't care.
That's exactly what the movie was. Yes.
Oh, great. Correct.
Yeah.
Great.
And Sassy Guru with a €5 dono. Thank you so much. Speaking of sexual assault by a primate, the same happened to Vern Troyer at the end of Postal. I remember that. Uwe Boll's Postal.
There you go. That's the level that Brothers is on. Uwe Boll's Postal.
You know what? Shoot for the stars, because even if you fall, you'll die.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
To be time.
To be fair,
Oh,
I have two to be fair recommendations for this week. One recommendation is going to be pretty obvious, which is Edge of Tomorrow. Edge of Tomorrow is available on Tubi. Live, Die, Repeat if you are from the European Union. Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt, sci-fi, Groundhog Day, sci-fi action. Beautiful movie. If you haven't seen it yet, why? Watch it on Tubi right now. It's free. You don't even need to sign up for it.
4K copy of that, physical copy of that I haven't opened yet. I need to watch it.
Gorgeous movie that you can watch without even needing to log in to Tubi, y'all. Again, Tubi's the greatest streaming network. Okay, here's my more oddball recommendation. This is probably mostly nostalgia watching, but Drumline.
Oh, I remember Drumline.
Fucking Drumline is a movie that I think does not get talked about a lot as far as kind of like high school, the dancing one gets talked about a lot. What's the dancing one?
Save the Last Dance.
No, the cheerleading. Step Up.
Bring It On. Bring It On.
Whatever one of those were, that gets talked about a lot, but Drumline doesn't get talked about as much as possible. Orlando Jones as like the stuck-up drumline teacher. Yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful movie that I enjoy still, unironically. I think it might be a little controversial because it's like a cornball high school rivalry movie about drumming.
I was literally about to say, you know who I bet loves that movie? Casey. And then Casey says, Drumline gets talked about a lot in my circles. See?
Fuck yeah.
A young Zoe Saldana. Ooh.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
First of all, Casey, we are too simpatico on too many of our tastes. I love it. Like, it's Drumline and a lot of emo music. So
Petey Pablo's in Drumline as himself. Freak a Leak.
What?
Freak a Leak. Petey Pablo song Freak a Leak. Look it up. That's my recommendation for the week. Look up Pablo's Freak a Leak.
That song was on Midnight Club 2.
See, Freak a Leak.
The Rockstar Racing game.
Yeah. So in any case, that's my to be recommendations. Edge of Tomorrow, aka Live, Die, Repeat, and Drumline, two fantastic movies that you can watch for free without signing up for anything. Once again, this is not sponsored by Tubi, but Tubi, if you're interested,
please sponsor us. To be fair. Also, fun fact: Live, Die, Repeat. Its original title, the manga title, is All You Need Is Kill, because it's based on a manga.
All you need is kill?
Kill. Yeah.
That is such a better fucking title. All you need is kill is so sick.
Yeah, that's such a good title. And there you go. That was our rewrite for the week.
Great.
I can't believe we did it. I'm so proud of every single one of us. Nick, what do you got going on? What should folks check out? Obviously, Saturday, our big event starts 11 a.m. Central. We'll be there. Yahtzee will be there. Darren will be there. Casey will be there. Everyone will be there. Eric will be there. It's like Smash. What else should folks check out?
Pretty much that, and I'm working on my next Unpack script. Well, I'm thinking about it. I haven't started working on it yet.
That's part of working.
Thinking is working.
Yeah. So, and then we'll be back for Firelink tomorrow.
Beautiful.
Wunderbar. What about you, Jack?
Beautiful. Obviously, Adventure is Nigh. We are moving Adventure is Nigh, so Adventure is Nigh will not be Saturday morning because we are streaming all day. Adventure is Nigh, the finale of Side Quest 1 will be Sunday morning, and we're going to move the edited Yahtzee tries to Sunday afternoon. Yeah. But that is Sunday. The wonderful Side Quest 1, which I'm so proud of and I love so much. It was our first kind of like, can we do something different? And I think it was great. And then of course, if you're not caught up, you're gonna have a great time. So yeah, that's that. And of course, Saturday. Be around on Saturday. It's gonna be a great time.
Yeah, hell yeah. And then our last things, of course, like we mentioned, check out Darren's latest backdrop video on the Penguin. Very non-spoiler, so definitely worth checking out. And then Streamwise, rest of the week we'll have Resi 2 is coming up in an hour or so. Starting the Jessies, they might be finishing the game tonight. So tune in for that. Obviously, regular Yahtzee tries and Firelink and Fully Realm-O-Matic tomorrow. And then Jack and I will return on Thursday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central. A little sponsored stream. A little game called Mind Cop.
I'm sorry, Marty. You pronounced that incorrectly.
Mind Cop.
Mind Cop.
God, we love a Mind Cop in this house. And Casey and I'll be doing more Metroid on Thursday evening. And then CSI Freak, last thing, thank you so much. $5 dono. What did you guys think of Champions starring Woody Harrelson? I thought it was funny and heartwarming. Is that the movie where he coaches like a special ed team?
I don't know what movie you're talking about. So
Champions.
Hold on. I just Googled Champions Woody and got very different results.
A temperamental minor league basketball coach who, after an arrest, must coach a team with intellectual disabilities as community service. Yeah.
Oh,
starring
okay.
Galen Olsen, Ernie Hudson, and Cheech Marin.
A little Mighty Ducks-ish. Oh, that's great.
Oh, it's and directed by one of the Farrellys, not the Farrelly who's become big, the lesser Farrelly. Well, Peter Farrelly directed like Green Book and won an Oscar. Bobby Farrelly did not. So there you go. Fun fact. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you, Eric, for producing as always. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Nick. And thank you to everyone watching on YouTube, listening on your podcast service of choice. We appreciate you all. This was Marty. This is Rewind episode number 9. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you all back here in an hour for Resi Tuesdays. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Is only episode 9?
9. Yeah.